Good day, everyone, and welcome to another segment on the bench. Today I'm going to bring you up a real scruffy looking fly here. It's a furry bugger is what I call this one. A version of the woolly bugger. There's not a better pattern out there than a woolly bugger variation. It's been probably no doubt with the most productive fly for different species, different sizes and colors, of course. This one here, we're going to do it in very, very soft hackle, very breathable, and this fly works very well when the current starts working these fibers loose. So this is going to be a large one. I've tied them a lot smaller in this, and different sizes and colors, of course. So let's go over the materials we need to tie the fly. Start with a streamer hook, this is size 2, and I'm going to be using some 6/0 black thread. I'm using some lead wire to get a little undulation involved there. A little small copper wire, create our dubbing brush. The tail, I'm going to be using some marabou quills. This is in ginger. The body, I'll be using some of this gold fleck holographic chenille here from Brown Olive. Got a real nice color here from Semperfli. This is a very large hackle or chenille here. Works okay on a size 2. And the secret sauce is going to be some cross-cut rabbit. Nice cross-cut strips here, some good guard hairs in there. So one of my favorite materials, bar none, is rabbit strips. Caught a lot of fish with those. And also highlights for the tail. You can use whatever flash you like. I really like this San Juan mix here from Semperfli. It's got a really beautiful colors in there. Some copper hue in there, some light blue. Very, very nice. So let's go in here. This one I've just tied with a rabbit tail on there just to show you can do it whichever way you like. I'm going to put a little longer marabou tail on this next one. We'll do. Okay. So we'll get our hook in the vise here. Grab my lead wire. And generally I just want the front part of the hook to be weighted. I get a little more undulation there, a little more movement. I'll take my black thread on the front here, basically where I want my lead to come up to, my tying point, and then I'll just go over it. Create a bit of a dam at the back, and then I'll stop it from sliding. Get to the tail tie-in point here by the point of the barb. And we'll use marabou tail. It's pretty hard to beat. It's nice and breathable, and you can get the proper lengths. You can go as thick or thin as you like. Customize it however you want. That's the secret about tying your own flies. A lot of people are wondering about, is it a good idea to tie your own flies or cheaper? Well, I wouldn't say it's a great idea. Just get in just because it's cheaper. It's a lot of fun. It's a great hobby. You can also learn a lot about entomology and flies while you're doing it. But the main thing is I like about it, you can create a lot of your own patterns. Some new materials are coming out, and just make whatever you think will work sometimes. And also follow old patterns. Don't get too far away from them. Now when I tie in the flash, I'm just going to use a couple strands on each side. Don't overdo it. I don't want the flash taken over. I'll let that come out just past the tail. There we go. Now I'm going to take in my small copper wire right at the rear. Fold it back over itself so it doesn't pull out. Throw a half hitch. Now, if you do not have like I'm using an ore vise here, as you can see, a spinning vise, and I have a dubbing block or dubbing table here I'll bring in. If you don't have that, you can make or buy yourself a dubbing block. Piece of wood, got a bit of groove in it there. It's got another couple ends you can pinch the materials together and spin it. It's a pretty easy deal, but if you're in a fly tying at all, any of these dubbing brushes, get a dubbing block, and you can use that on your regular vices. So I like these with the nice guard hairs. I'm going to stay away from this kind of just soft. I want a little more guard hair in here. I'm going to cut, these are cross-cut rabbit too, so it comes off the hide sideways. And you can wrap it on there that way as well. But the reason I like cut the hide off but all the time is that it gives me, I can put more hair on it without adding all that leather and bulking up my fly. So I'm just going to lay this over my table. We get a little extra on there, it's fine. You can always cut a little extra off, but you can't add after you twisted it. You just get the butts covered over top your thread. Then I want to use some dubbing wax onto the wire, and the reason I do that so when I come over top, the hair will stay where it's supposed to be. It won't slip out of the wire. I just bring the wire over the top of the thread and the hackle and start spinning it. Just go slow to start with, and then you can speed it up a little more. And you get it. See how you're taking these fibers now all become perpendicular from the wire. That's the secret to the dubbing brushes. There's a lot of flies being done now with dubbing brushes, large, musky flies, you name it. You can go large, small, very, very small. I've done some really small nymphs with wire brushes too. They work great. Now I'm just going to cut my thread off the brush. Cut that on there. I'm just going to take the brush, put it back on my keeper. I'll go in here, start my thread back in. Then we'll bring in some of our chenille. This is a new chenille they just come out with. I can wind that on with my vise, but I'm going to work with it. I'm going to try to preen this out as we go. It's a pretty long chenille, so I want to try to get these fibers so they go back. So I'm going to take a little time, just make sure when you wind it, it kind of lays back over itself. Now it's not want to, so I just pull it back a little bit there, and then you'll see it's going to lay in there again. I get a really nice full body. You can use a little smaller chenille if you want, different colors. There's no end to the possibilities. You can put a cone head on this fly, lead eyes, or whatever you want to do. Make sure it's tied down good and solid. Very nice body. Now you're not going to see a lot of that once it's in the water. It's going to, what I like to do with a lot of flies that I like to fish or create is have the flash underneath. I don't like it to get too bright. I like the fish I like sublime colors, but I like the flash to a point where it adds to the pattern. Underneath it just kind of like, so I'm just going to go on hand over hand, eat that wire up right the back till I get into the hair, and then I'm going to preen this back as I do my hackle. Take a little time, make sure just preen it back from your wire so it's coming off the back side. And it's strong. There's a lot of wire in there. You can fish this fly. If you don't bust it off, you can pass this one on to your kids. It's going to last a long time. Very durable. Now the thing is really, really nice with these flies, when you get them in the water, what I like, sometimes when you're moving it, you're going to need to move a fly fast or very, very slow, or drift it. You can do almost any retrieve with this fly because it's going to, the pressure of the water is going to really help you out. When it's under pressure, of course, it's going to be laid down nice and slender. And when it's not under pressure, it's going to want to breathe. It's going to really move. They're not, I don't think it's, you'll find a fly that's going to breathe much better than this one. So just put a little head cement on the front or whatever you wish. Finish that off. And there you have it. A fuzzy bugger. Call it whatever you like. Just a good little woolly bugger pattern. Size 2, it's large, but this one will be responsible for some of the bigger fish out there. Remember colors too, always get darker in the water. So this is a light ginger color. You can do a contrasting color for the body, but to me, it's one of my all-time favorites. So good luck, and hope to see you on the water.